I have way too much to talk about, and frankly, I'm a little pissed off. That's not exactly a bad thing, because you take things in stride. Pacing matters. Talking with another good friend of mine who's getting set on getting married soon. Pacing matters. I mean, it's not even about a numbers game anymore. It's about, like, relationships and all of that. Like, stuff that I can't advise on much or give thoughts on much, because guess what? I haven't exactly been blessed with relationships in my life, so I don't have a strength in that area. It's looking pretty nice outside, too. Not many stars or anything. Anyway, our worlds are different, and it's not necessarily about right or wrong. It's really not. It's understandable when people with morals and faiths, values, ethics, all of this, they stand upon a firm foundation, the Bible. You stand upon something to build up your life, to build up what is around you. You're going to have to do that at some point or another. It's just when troubles and trials hit, or in my case, when you're not getting where you are trying to go, you're not finding success, because in some cases you're going to be delayed. And as I've noted, some of these quote-unquote thorns in our sides is not necessarily like problems or issues. It could just be a lack, a lack of answers, a lack of blessings, a lack of getting to results, getting to where you want to go. I am doing my patrol currently, and this isn't exactly a rant, it's not exactly a ramble, and we have a truck over there making a lot of noise. Yeah, truckers. Love them or hate them, you need them. Supplies. Without trucks, our whole entire economy would fall apart. Stores would not be booked. They wouldn't have anything to buy. We wouldn't have anything to get that we would need. Yeah. So they may hog up the entire road, but you still need them. And they have their own little world too, because they're on the road, not 24/7, but it's like, I don't know, close to it. They could be on the road for like 24 hours or more. I know that. Oh my word. I used to travel around for a lot back in 2017, because I came down here to North Carolina to climb towers. I've been over 22 plus towers, 23 towers. I've lost track at this point. But I've been up quite a few towers. Yeah, I was scared of heights, but big whoop. Not that big of a deal. Shipping and receiving. Good stuff. Everything looks secure. Nothing's falling apart. That's good. That's good. Actually, if they were open, I would just take note of what's going on, write down a report, pass it along. More likely or not, there would be work being done, and people were being forgetful and left things unlocked, unclosed. Everything looks pretty good. Fenced in area, look good. Awesome. Oh, my word. So, where was I? Right. Truckers. Our world's being different. Yeah, got it. When you're trying to bring up things, as I was trying to talk about earlier, about concerns, issues, and problems with, we were talking about theater and dancing and all this stuff, because my friend's girlfriend / fiance, I think they've already proposed. I really don't know about the details, okay? That's whatever, that's fine. Even if I did know the details, I'm not going to be saying much, because I'm not at liberty, and I don't like breaking confidence like that. But anyway, that's a whole nother world that I don't know anything about. You're talking about Or rather, I was trying to ask questions about something because I have a similar interest to it. Surprise, surprise, of all things. And I was trying to figure out where to stand on all of this, because I was invited to the Go Putting on the Ritz that I actually put up a couple seconds worth, a couple videos back. So you can go check that out. It's actually called Putting on the Ritz, and it has a copyright thing on it. I never knew the theater could open up avenues of your life, and it's pretty powerful there, because getting connected with the rest of the world, there's a lot of good things that come from that. The main problem, though, is the Christian world, and many Christians in it, want to be separated from the rest. And to a point, we are called out to be sanctified. We are called out to be away. There's a phrasing, called out from among the other people to be closer to God. There's a phrasing to that. But basically, we're called out to God himself. There's others who may feel the call, they may hear the call, but they may choose to just kind of like say, I'm good. It's all right. No, thank you. Bye. There's a whole bunch of explanations that come down to it. Some people hate God. Some people hate Christians. Some people hate faith. Some people view faith as a crutch. And I would argue a very good counterpoint. Faith is the best kind of crutch, if it ever is a crutch. Because from what I understand, we're not designed to get through this life alone, by ourselves. We need other people to get from point A to point B, theoretically. People can argue and figure out what that point A and point B actually is. Is it a full life? Is it a life with lots of money, lots of, I don't know, women, whole bunch of random sex? You got to figure out what point A and point B actually are for you to get anywhere. Like, it's frustrating. It's sad. It's everything. I feel like this is more like going on a rant. I don't know. I'm not trying to be a rant, but like, it's not like it's been a bad evening. It's just been a hard evening. There we go. It's a hard evening. Jeez. We need to have other people be there to support us, as well as to keep us in check, so that we're not going off the rails thinking that we're right. Not making decisions thinking that we're right that are actually going to hurt us later down the road. We've all done it. We've all thought we've done the right thing and ended up unintentionally hurting ourselves. Oh my word. Anyway, to get back more on point here, since I keep drifting off. My mind's everywhere, I know. Like, I still am going to be working on with Cold Dead Hands. I have to write down a whole list of points. I need to do all that. I was talking about the same friend I was just talking to a couple minutes ago. I wanted to join the church, and I'm probably going to be writing down my testimony and actually do that, but that's a little difficult because some things are actually, I cannot be completely honest about. There was an entity in my life. How do I talk about that? A whole 13 years worth, you know? Like, certain things I can't exactly talk about or discuss well. So I can write it all down and I can see what they say and go off of that. Who knows? And part of the problem tying all this together is that I'm used to being outside the church at this point in time. I'm used to people inside the church not wanting me there. It's a rough category as a young man. And if you take a look around at the other churches, you're going to find the young singles category severely empty. And I'm generalizing when I say this because I have looked around. I hopefully will be able to go towards another church this Sunday. And I would like to see how many young people are there. Every church I've been to, with the exception of the Mormon church and that one Jehovah's Witness church, I forgot about them too. There was like 2 single people there, I think. The person who invited me there wasn't even single herself. And when I actually wanted to talk to her more in depth, she said, no, I don't want to give out my phone number because, I'm married. And I was just like, what? You're like leading me on. I feel like you're lying here to me. You want me to be a part of your church, and then you're backing out because you don't want to talk to me in private because you're married. I was like, you should have been upfront. You should have been honest with me up front. Anyway, I actually stopped going to that church because of her. And subsequently, I never saw her in another church. Awesome. Anyway, subsequently, I stopped seeing her. We were going to the same gym, and she just ended up, I don't know, moving to another gym, going to a different time. I don't know. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Anyway, the only thing that really does matter is that every church, what I'm trying to say is every church I've been to, the young singles category has been largely absent and very small. I would almost joke about, in some cases, it would be like 5 people, and I would be one of the 5 people in that room. So, as a whole, the churches, they have their own groups inside the church, and there's a lot of focus on the couples, the families, and there's too many people and there's not enough focus on the singles, and it's becoming a real issue. Just wait 10 years from now, and you will see a very drastic change with a lot of the population in the churches disappearing. If they're not going to reach out to the younger population, their own little world is going to be, unfortunately, dying. It's shrinking to the point where they're going to be closing down their doors. I was sitting here at the church that I've been attending for the past year and a half now, maybe 2 years, and hearing the whole well, how do we reach out to other people outside the church? And I'm not answering. I'm listening here. I'm trying to be an active listener here, and I'm shaking my head because I know a couple things. You have to do outreaches in the immediate area, not to other countries. If nothing else, focus on the veterans. Focus on getting other men back on their feet so they can help out with society. I mean, look at the companies, the pharmaceutical companies. Look at the other ones pushing forward medication. They're not doing anything to help get men back on their feet because there's no quote-unquote profit in it. You compare a lot of people to Jesus, and you see what he said, what his life was in the Bible, where he went out and spent time with people that really bothered the elders, the Pharisees, Sadducees, all the people who were in charge, with the exception of the Romans, obviously. They got offended because Jesus was hanging out with the worst of the worst. That would include murderers. That would include pedophiles. That would include people who stole. The tax collectors are not just people. They would be like the equivalent of the people who worked. Why am I blanking on their name? Why? Anyway. The people who deal with tax season here. Anyway. So moving on. The church's environment is very different than outside. And in some cases it's healthier because it actually wants to establish traditions, a foundation, something for you to grow on. Something solid, consistent, that is not going to change. People are going to argue and debate about the whole, whether or not the Bible is even real or not. And I would still point out, it is consistent and it will not change. You're not going to hurt yourself by building off of that. You're going to hurt yourself by building off of other things that are inconsistent, that change with the times, that doesn't even necessarily care about you. The church will at least try to care about you. There are people out there who care. They're going to do something because, well, let me rephrase that. They're going to do what is put on their heart, and they're going to do it to the best of their ability. It may not necessarily be to meet all of your needs, because realistically that may be impossible, but they're going to reach out and they're going to try. They're going to do their best. Those outside of the church, good luck, right? Who are you going to turn to? Your parents? Okay, that could work. Your friends? Maybe. But are they really your friends? Are they going to have your back if something actually happens? I mean, it's a hard world that we live out there. We are kept split apart for reasons. Obviously, some to benefit off of us and others to well, it all boils down to benefiting off us in one way or another. Either to hurt us directly or indirectly, it doesn't matter. All in all, I'm going to try to wrap this up a little bit here, and revolving around the conversation, the hour plus that I had conversation-wise. Not everything is going to fall under the same label. It's going to be a little different. Not everything's going to be the same. And frankly, some of our discussed, and I'm talking about us as in those who are outside of the church, I am in a unique position here, and I've taken some time to think about it. I'm inside and outside the church. Like I'm stuck between two worlds, essentially. So I can talk about both worlds, but I can't exactly make a change in both worlds. There's a pro and con to this. It's also noted that there's some people who do not care at all. They will not respect anyone who is in the church. I get that. Of course, I need to point out here a couple of important things. Just because they call people with faith hypocrites doesn't mean that they are right. They're often wrong anyway. The whole thing about hypocrites is your words and actions do not line up. Isn't that what a hypocrite is? If I'm wrong, correct me. Say one thing and do another thing. In the Bible, there's a parable talking about the father with two sons, and it was very limited about the father making the same request of both of his sons, with the first one saying, yeah, I'll go ahead and do it, and then never does it. And the other one says, no, I don't want to do it. Later, changes his mind and goes ahead and does it. So which son was right? The one who said they were going to and didn't, or the one who said no and then did it? Your intent behind your words and actions matters. If you're going to do something, do it. If you're not sure, say you're not sure and then think about it. So, in other words, some people are hypocrites and other people, we keep them accountable. Actually, that's in both inside and outside the church. But generally, it would be more like political-based versus faith-based. Are you going to keep people inside the church accountable? You're going to hold them accountable for their words and actions, just like you do with the politicians? This stuff matters. I don't like politics, but it is a necessary evil. And in some ways, if we no longer engage because we're either, too worried about what others think, we're too easily offended. Like, there's a lot of reasons why we won't participate, but the problem is, as a whole, there needs to be some level of participation that you can deal with. Not just because in the Bible it says that we should make disciples of all the nations, that we need to go out there and talk to others and let them know that there is hope, there is a future, there is a Savior. And believe me, we're not going to get anywhere on our own anyway, right? We're not going to fix all the world's problems on our own anyway. And at the very least, you can at least pray and say, hey, I need help with this. Can you help me out? And you can start the ball going. There are a lot of things that have happened with prayer. Surprise, surprise. Like, what do people think? That it doesn't actually do anything? That there's actually no answers, no results? I would ask those people, how many times have they sat down and genuinely prayed? God, help. You don't get answers because you're not praying. Actually, you may not even be getting what you want when you're praying because you're not, everything's wrong, or you're not even praying. Jeez. Don't get me wrong, I can handle a lot. Maybe even some people who are like foolish and, stupid. I feel like I do better outside the church than inside the church anyway. My constant struggle largely actually revolves around the church. Actually, not even around the Bible, around the church. Around the people in the church, Why do I care about something that I'm not even a part of? I mean, right now anyway. I'm trying to regain membership for this church? Sure. I have to write down testimony? Sure. I'm keeping it simple here. I'm not going to specifics. Anyway, the two worlds being separate is actually a good thing. But as a whole, as someone pointed out to me, this is a very good point. No matter which church you're a part of, no matter what denomination, this is just a reflection of the one true church up in heaven. Oh, okay. So that raises up even more questions, when in regards to me being on Facebook with some of these groups talking about Calvinists and joking about that, how they're not even Christians. I'm not touching that, but it's a very interesting question. So, in regards to all of this, if we are attempting to be closer to God, we can do so inside the church, but we're going to have more success inside the church because we're surrounded by people of the same mind and who are very similar to us. Outside the church, you're more likely to be a missionary doing what you can for the glory of God to help others. Like, not actually going to other countries, but you may be doing your job with the intent of reaching out to others and doing the best that you can here. I did a video over a year ago talking about one of the interesting things about being private security is that I can do more than just help out with the job. I can actually try to encourage other people and make things, just keep it at being more encouraging to others. Protecting lives, there are some similarities and crossovers between that, just like working on sites and trying to keep the sites safe. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't exactly sit well with me telling the homeless people to go move. I don't like that. That's never sat well with me, ever. Coming back from another country, from deployments, just to tell homeless people to leave. I'll need to call the cops. I hate it. I mean, there's things to learn about this. Obviously, there's things you're not going to always like about every single job. This is just one of them. Keeping people safe means keeping them away. Yeah, funny. That's a good one. Keeping them out of trouble. Yeah. Keeping people safe means keeping them out of trouble. You can be very proactive in that area for sure. Do what you can for their safety, whether they like it or not. Well, if you do it to the best of your ability, you're not going to have any regrets no matter which way you choose. I'm still aggravated. Anyway, it's a good night. It's just a lot of things are weighing down here, and some of it will take time to get into for the personal side. I get it. Time is needed. Pacing is needed. In fact, a large part of the reason why the whole Christian this is a side trail, why being a Christian Taoist is where I feel like fits best with me, is because pacing and being able to calm myself down so I don't get lost or stuck in my anger, because God forbid, there's a lot of things out there that are dying to get you angry and to keep you angry. Life's not fair for a lot of reasons. I hate saying that. I really do. If life was fair, we would all be hurting. Every single one of us. Because I don't want to go into it. I really don't. Life's not fair, and that's a blessing in some very interesting ways. That being said, hopefully there'll be a lot more consequences happening to fix some of the issues in our country currently. We have too much going on and not enough consequences, in my opinion. Like, enough is enough. I've been following some groups posting some of the updates that are happening in the Senate and the Congress and with Trump and Elon, and it's not good news. It's not good news at all. Or very little of it's good news. Excuse me, I need to rephrase that. I'm afraid at the end, it's not going to matter which world you're going to be in, because both are going to be under attack, and both sides are going to be too overwhelmed to help the other. You know? Not necessarily saying it's going to be every man for themselves, but like, realistically, if a third war starts here in the U.S., when's it going to end? Our economy isn't looking hot. Having any sort of armed conflict breaking out here like it is over in some of the other areas, Ukraine and Russia come to mind. The conflict in Israel and the conflict in Israel, that's another one. That still hasn't been wrapped up. Jeez. All right. I don't have a good ending, but anything else will resume like normal. I'm going to post a couple of shorts now and then, get some good points, and hopefully be able to finish up all the points needed for the upcoming conversation with Cold Dead Hands, because that is something I'm looking forward to. All right, until next time, take it easy. How do I end this thing? How do I end this thing?